Hi everybody, this is BigPapaGrump for the Board of Doom, and this is my preview and predictions for the WWE pay-per-view Stomping Grounds. Okay, before I get into my picks, I know it's been a little while. I took Money in the Bank off because I was kind of suffering from wrestling burnout, which I still kind of am, but maybe I'll get into that a little later. But for now, all good. Let's go with the picks. First of all, Stomping Ground, still a better name than Great Balls of Fire. Not a big fan of it, though. Starting on, I don't know what's going to be on the pre-show or anything like that, so I'm just going to kind of work my way up the card and level of where WWE values things. So we're going to start with the Cruiserweights. And it's, for the Cruiserweight Championship, Drew Gulak versus Akira Tozawa and Tony Nese. Nese being the champion, and I think he retains. I don't think they take the belt off Nese yet. His title run has been slightly lackluster since Buddy Murphy dropped the title. It's been a little flat on 205 Live of late. It's still good. It's just that it doesn't have the oomph it used to. So it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of try to shake things up, but I don't think this is the time to do it. So I think Nese retains, because I think Nese has the potential to be a really good champion, but WWE has to start giving a damn about the Cruiserweight division again. Okay, so we've got two tag team matches on the show, one of which is one I'm going to talk about now, which is the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. New Day, of course, being Big E and Xavier Woods. This one's kind of tough because you really want to see Owens and Zayn get a win to build up some credibility, but Big E did just come back from injury, and they're kind of building, Kofi up a little bit. So KO and Zayn, I'm just going to go with them getting a cheeky win of some sort. The second tag match is for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships between Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. I'm going to stick with the champs to retain. I don't think they take the belts off Bryan and Rowan yet. I think they're still waiting for that team, and I don't think Heavy Machinery is it. If Heavy Machinery ends up being it, they'll find out during this match and maybe put the belts on them later. But for now, I think the titles stay on Bryan and Rowan, because they've actually been really good as tag champs. So I'm enjoying the natural heat they're getting. I just find it funny as heck that the one guy who wants to save the planet is the bad guy. So I'm kind of enjoying that little oddness. So yeah, I got them retaining. Not to count out Heavy Machinery. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they do kind of try to swerve it a little bit, but I don't think they will yet. Okay, for the United States Championship, you've got Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. They don't like to keep the belt on Joe very much. I think that might change here. I was originally going to go with Ricochet, and I would love to see Ricochet capture a title in WWE. I'm just tired of all these moments coming against Samoa Joe, who I think deserves way more. So I'm kind of fantasy booking Joe to retain. I do really want to see Ricochet win a belt, and the U.S. title will be a great belt to win, but they just put the belt back on Joe, and I'd hate to think that they just put the belt on Joe to give it to Ricochet. I'd actually like to see Ricochet get his butt whooped, but, put in a good show and build a little bit more. I really want him, it's not that he's not over, but I want him to get more over. I want him to get NXT over. And right now, he's just WWE mid-card over. So I want to see him. So I think having him get beat down, which is also a theory I've got in a later match, having him get beat down and lose, especially if he loses clean in a hard-fought match, that would be great for him, because then, you kind of want to build him up to have him triumph over the adversity. But you have to have him face some real adversity first. So I would like to see WWE actually tell a proper story, and this would be a really good one to tell, and it would be a nice to see them actually organically get someone over. The other match that I would like to see someone get beat down again or face some more adversity. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I'm picking Drew McIntyre to win because, again, I'm having faith in WWE storytelling, which has been a mistake the entire time I've been doing these videos, especially lately. Get to that in a second. But yeah, I want to see Reigns lose. I want to see Reigns lose because Shane McMahon costs him the match and Drew McIntyre picks up the win. I want to see Elias interfere. I want to see Bobby Lashley interfere. I want to see Nicholas interfere. I don't care. Because the problem that we've always been, had with Roman Reigns is that they're forcing him over on us. They're making him Superman. I want to see him knock down a few pegs to build him up. I think Reigns has the potential to be, the future of the company and the crowd behind him. And I know that he's over now because he got over the leukemia and there's a lot of goodwill there. I want them to capture the goodwill, leave the leukemia stuff behind, which they've been doing. They haven't been referencing it nearly as much. And have him, just go up against the son of the owner, and he just can't get past until the point where the heels get their comeuppance. But you actually have to have them really deserve it, and they don't quite yet. So I'm picking Drew because I would like to see it pay off later when Roman does go over either Drew or Shane or whoever. Okay, so for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, you've got Bayley versus Wildcard Alexa Bliss. I really think they're just biding their time with this feud. I don't think Alexa Bliss is meant to take the title away from Bayley, so I'm picking Bayley. I also think that giving Bayley a little bit of a length to her run with the title before you have someone take the belt off of her would be ideal. So Charlotte's kind of been waiting off to the side, I guess, waiting her turn. They haven't really been doing much with Asuka or Kairi Sane. So really you've just had, they brought Alexa Bliss over because they don't really know what they have on the SmackDown side. You've got Carmella, but nobody really wants to see that. And she's way more effective helping R-Truth right now. Having her in the comedy act for now, it works just fine. So Nikki Cross is kind of hanging with the heel but acting like a babyface. So you're not quite sure what they're going to do with her. And so I think you kind of have to bide your time until either Sasha Banks comes back, if she comes back, Nia Jax comes back from injury. You decide it's time to bring Charlotte forward. You bring up Shayna Baszler, after SummerSlam or whatever. So title stays on Bayley for now. We'll see what's going on later. Bringing us to the Raw Women's Championship between Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. Kind of the same thing. I think you're more likely to put the belt on Lacey than you are on Alexa right now. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Becky goes over, because I don't think Lacey's ready to have the title run yet. She doesn't have the crowd against her for the right reasons. Right now, they're kind of more against her because they don't like her. They find her annoying. She's still getting better in the ring. So I don't think we've seen them put the title on people too soon. And I don't want that to happen to Lacey Evans. I think Lacey Evans has the potential to be a very effective heel, especially if she evolves her gimmick a little bit more. Keep the attitude, and all that, and maybe drop the generic Southern girl aspect of it and stop focusing on that. Not necessarily drop it, but stop making that the focus, and make the focus just the fact that, she's not a very good person. And just have her run with that would be good. But I don't think it's time yet. I think they keep the belt on Becky. Besides, Becky was the hottest thing in wrestling 9, 10, 8 months ago. And you kind of need to recapture that, which is kind of the story about the top of this pay-per-view. And we'll get to that in a sec. So that brings us to Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, Kofi to retain. I don't think they're putting the belt on Dolph They brought Dolph out of hiatus just for this. I think you're building towards Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, possibly. I don't really see any other major feuds unless you're going to have the New Day split up and he feuds with Big E. But there's also a rumor that Shane McMahon's going to have one of the titles by the end of the summer, so who knows? I'll cover that in a sec. But for now, Kofi retains. And you might maybe planting the seed for something else later. Who knows? If he loses, I don't think he loses the title. If Dolph goes over, I think it's going to be something cheeky, like a disqualification or count out or something. But I think they end the feud here. So I think Kofi goes over and Dolph disappears again for a while. I know Junior really wants Dolph Ziggler to win because he just loves Dolph Ziggler. And I think Dolph Ziggler is past the point of deserving a title run. I think they missed the boat on him a couple of times, even in recent years, not just, when he had that big Money in the Bank cash in against Del Rio and then got hurt. I think you had an opportunity to do something and really let Dolph run with things, and they kind of missed the boat. So I think it's a little too late if they throw the belt on him now. The "it should have been me" thing, it's kind of the same gimmick he had last time. You bring Dolph back and just, make him a badass, then sure. But he's not doing that right now. He just sounds whiny and obnoxious. Okay, so the Universal Championship match between Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin with a special guest referee that, as of the time of this recording, they have not officially named. I've got so many issues with the top of WWE's card right now. You had two really good, feel-good moments at WrestleMania with Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch winning their titles. Becky Lynch's feel-good was kind of botched by being at the end of a long show and the mistake, like the botched pin at the end, and people still kind of remember that, but we're all willing to move past it. We know what it was supposed to happen, and it just was messed up. Okay, fine. But they've kind of stalled her momentum. They've stalled Kofi's a little, not as much, just in the fact that he's not getting any signature feuds yet. Like a feud, you gave away the match against Daniel Bryan, so that's a pay-per-view match right there, and and we've seen that in the past, but also with the change in who's the champ, and because Bryan hasn't had a big-time rematch for the title yet, and I know automatic rematches aren't a thing, but it's still a pay-per-view caliber match, and we all know that they can do so much more. So like I said, I think maybe they're holding off on something like that, but Kofi's momentum's kind of and plus with the wild card bouncing back and forth, and you're seeing too much of Kofi. You're also seeing too much of Seth now, except for the last couple of weeks, or basically the last week. I'm going to hit everyone that Baron Corbin even thinks about making the special guest referee with the chair gimmick is I'm all about that. That is, I think it's funny. I think it's fun. There's basically three things that have kept me watching WWE or even paying attention over the last several months even. It's the 24/7 title, which I was so not thrilled about because the title reveal was kind of bleh, but then it became one of the most fun segments on Raw. The Firefly Funhouse, now I'm partial because I love Bray Wyatt, and he's another one that they've underutilized. But those have been very, very entertaining segments. And the Seth Rollins hitting everybody with a chair, okay, fine. You've stalled Seth a little bit as well because of the whole Brock Lesnar thing. You've turned him into you suddenly turned him into a paranoid champ because of Brock Lesnar. If it were me, I would have had him not take Brock Lesnar with the briefcase seriously. I mean, not take it seriously, but just be overconfident about it. And then a couple of random beatdowns later, you can slowly build And then over the course of a couple of months, random Brock Lesnar music hits or Paul Heyman's in the building, and you slowly make, Seth a little bit more paranoid. That's how I would have done it. I think that would have played out better because, Seth as champ has not been as you wanted it to be. And then putting him in a feud with Baron Corbin ain't helping. I like Baron Corbin. Go back through the Board of Doom videos, because we could use the views, and you'll see that I've been very high on Baron Corbin. I've been a little low on his, Mater D outfit, Baron Corbin. But as, in the ring, I like Baron Corbin just fine. I think he's getting genuine heat. He's getting the kind of heat you want, which is, we hate you, and you're not really you don't even have to do anything. It's not quite Xbox go away heat, but it's starting to get there because you keep pushing him into the limelight when he hasn't really done anything. And he's not who you want to see Seth wrestling right now. You want to see Seth wrestling maybe Owens. And I mean, with the wild card rule, it could be anybody. You could throw in Adam Cole or Pete Dunne for that matter. But in all seriousness, you want to see him wrestling McIntyre or Owens. Somebody or a returning Bray Wyatt. I know we're not at that point yet, but very soon that would be great. But Baron Corbin is not the guy. They didn't have a great match at the Super Saudi show. So, why are we doing it again? The special guest referee thing kind of adds an interesting layer, but not interesting enough. I think and hope Seth retains, because I want to see him move on to a better feud. Maybe, have somebody like Lashley come after him, because Lashley or McIntyre going after him with Brock Lesnar looming, you could see the genuine threat there. No one takes Corbin seriously as a threat, mostly because of what they've done with him over the last year or so. So, I mean, the whole gimmick about how he introduced himself as that city's favorite son and the guy who retired Kurt Angle, I mean, that's getting old. But I like that whole aspect of him, not just coming in and insulting your, local sports team or whatever to get heat. He's just arrogant and obnoxious, and I like that. But he's overstayed his welcome at the top of the card. He needs to disappear for a while and then maybe work his way back up. And you know what? Start wrestling in wrestling tights. That might help too. Okay, so those have been my picks. I know I've kind of been rambly. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I've been mostly doing my video game videos, which, BigPapaGrump, YouTube channel. Check it out. Been doing Minecraft videos. Probably going to be uploading some Dauntless videos very soon as well. I've been kind of watching wrestling with only about 60% attention being paid to whenever, unless it's like Firefly Funhouse or the 24/7 stuff, just because I'm so down on the storytelling. I did go over to Golden Boys and watch, but Junior went as well later, and watched the AEW show and Double or Nothing. Good show. Not as great as I think a lot of it. The Cody match versus Dustin was great. I enjoyed the main event. I enjoyed Moxley showing up. But I think, with all the complaints coming out from backstage, allegedly, all these reports about wrestlers being unhappy, you don't see the Revival keep getting screwed over. Where is Rusev? Where is Shinsuke? Where's Finn? I mean, he's been around, but there's no focus. The guys that I want to see on TV aren't on TV. And I think that's part of my problem. I know Bray's been injured and then he had a baby and now he's on his way. So, okay, we'll take him out of the equation. But, Shinsuke is a guy I like watching. KO and Zayn, guys I like watching. They're back now, but I haven't been as intrigued by what they're doing. When Owens first turned on the New Day and he looked like he was going to be like NXT Kevin Owens, and he hasn't quite been there. It's almost Festival of Friendship Jericho Kevin Owens, which I liked a lot, but Sami Zayn isn't as appealing either. His his character's kind of obnoxious right now, and I'm not as interested in it. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that I'm not as interested in, and so the result of that is I haven't really felt like doing one of these videos. So I think for now I'm going to just scale it back to definitely doing the big four: SummerSlam, the Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. And then if I feel like doing one for any of the plethora of pay-per-views in between now and then I'll do one. But I'm not as jazzed for the product, so therefore I'm not as jazzed to do the videos. So it's a me thing. I'll come around. I go through this every couple years, mostly during the John Cena Edge feud era was about when I started to, for a while, and came back around the rise of Daniel Bryan. So, and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, that era. So anyways, and so that's pretty much where I'm at with that. So my rant is over. So anyway, so that's where I've been. That's where my headspace has been wrestling wise. So I'm going to get on with putting the text and the pics and the cool music up. And I've been Big Papa Grump, and I'll catch you next time, whenever that is. Check out my